begin with CW's latest attempt to adapt comic book characters into a show. Well, let's start off with the fact that I mentioned at the end of my last video that I expected this show, Gotham Knights, to be a train wreck. The DC gaming division explicitly came out and disavowed the Gotham Knights series as they were getting ready to launch a game by the same name. They wanted all and sundry to know full well that their game was not based on, connected to, and or affiliated with CW's Gotham Knights series. And when you look up the ratings for the game and realize it is not that great a game, you start to wonder just what it was they saw that worried them that the show might depress sales of the game. After all, 6 out of 10 on Steam and 5 out of 10 on IGN is not great by any stretch of the imagination. Add into that the fact that leaks were showing that they were inventing characters unnecessarily, race-swapping characters, and adding trans characters, and this show is not getting off to a promising start. But I am getting ahead of myself. Let's go through the spoiler review of Episode 1 of Gotham Knights, shall we? We start off with a new character who goes unnamed for a ridiculously long time. He is the adopted son of Bruce Wayne and fencing at a private school, beating his opponent fairly easily and earning him a spot in the state tournament. He is not one of the many other people in the comics Bruce Wayne has adopted over the years. No, they had to invent one out of whole cloth. I would hazard to guess that it was so they did not have people like me pointing out they were violating the hell out of the source material. However, this rarely goes well in recent years. Hollywood is too creatively bankrupt to invent characters, to lead stories related to comic book properties, and do it right. Or any other properties, for that matter. Back to the orphan. Said orphan is met by his quote-unquote best friend, who asks him where his father is. Orphan boy says he was supposed to be there, and the girl suggests he had to work late, which he for some reason takes as an invitation to invite everyone in hearing range to his house for a party. Later, with his mansion packed with high schoolers, his totally not supposed to be a gender-swapped Alfred substitute housekeeper, Cressida, informs him that there are two people violating the sanctity of the billiard room. When he gets there, he finds the asshole he beat at fencing earlier making out with his totally platonic best friend, Stephanie. Then we cut to an office building that is presumably Wayne Tower, where a janitor who looks way too young is pushing a cart of supplies through the outer office area when a guard checks on him and leaves. As soon as he leaves, the cart vomits a girl who is then joined by another girl coming out of the vents. The three master burglars approach the office at the end of the room that has a gold plate on the wall next to the door. It is Bruce Wayne's office. The three geniuses pick the lock and enter. The first girl going to the safe, and the second girl mocking how long it is taking her to crack it. The first girl looks surprised because the safe opens easily due to the fact that somebody was there before them. They open the safe, and the only thing inside is a gun. Apparently, they were hired to steal the gun that killed Bruce Wayne's parents for $100,000. Naturally, these geniuses all decide to touch it, and none of them are wearing gloves. The fearless leader notices the barrel is warm. They are getting a bad feeling about the whole thing when they hear a helicopter outside and see a spotlight cross the window. Only then do they notice the window has a hole in it, and someone has written in red, quote, "Now your bat is dead," unquote. The Mensa candidates come to the conclusion that they have been set up while they stick their heads out and see a body on the concrete below. The first girl mutters, "We have been set up," capping this brilliant scene as they haul ass out of the office. The police show up outside with Harvey Dent, not face melted as of yet, and they see Bruce Wayne wearing the Batman mask with his business suit. Back upstairs, our crack burglary crew runs out of the office and right to the elevators, just as it is disgorging police officers. The three slender and not very tall kids beat the crap out of the police. The first kid uses the radio to divert the backup coming up the stairs so they can escape. They walk out of the building and into a cop car that they hotwire to get away. At the party, Bruce Wayne's kid, who still has not been named by that point that I can recall, questions his best friend on her questionable choices in partner for her game of suckface in the billiard room. She fires back with one of his questionable choices and tells him that the kid she was with is just jealous of him, wants to be and have everything he has. That is when the police show up to inform the kid his dad is dead. Turner, we finally found out his name, is told by Harvey that Bruce is dead and apparently was Batman. He consoles Turner as the police clear out the house. Harvey promises to get whoever did it, and then asks if he knew Bruce was Batman. Turner doesn't believe his assurances because his parents were killed and the killers never found. Later, Stephanie also tries to console him, but he lashes out in anger, throwing a glass of liquor against the wall. He then hears the liquid draining, and he just so happened to throw the glass against the one wall in the entire mansion that has the entrance to the Batcave. He and Stephanie go in and are amazed. After the beginning credits, we get the funeral with narration from a reporter. As Harvey is following Turner to the grave, a detective comes up and tells him that they have a tip on the killer's hideout. The three idiots, who have apparently killed the richest man in the city and the only guy criminals are afraid of, are divvying up the cash they were paid to go rob the safe. The first kid is arguing they should flee the city, that it is blood money and everyone will think they killed Bruce Wayne. But their fearless leader mocks him for asking who hired them. The one with a functioning brain suggests getting out of Gotham while the funeral is on. They cut to Turner giving a graveside eulogy, and the writing is dreadful. It is intercut with police storming the idiot's hideout and forcibly arresting all of them. They are taken into the station, and as people leave the grave, one of the kids from the party is the last to leave. And you immediately know the diminutive girl is probably Robin. She lays a rose on the casket with a mournful expression. Harvey tells Turner that the police got the killers. He tries to tell Turner that at least he has some solace knowing that they were caught, but Turner tells him he won't be satisfied until the one who hired them is caught. Harvey assures him that they will get the one behind it as well, but Turner doubts it now that Batman is dead. Turner goes home to find Cressida watching news of a new gang taking over the Narrows and torching buildings now that Batman is gone. He wants to go see if Harvey, who he just saw less than an hour ago, has anything new in the time since he last spoke to him. Cressida, however, tells him he's going to school. She says he is her responsibility now, and that she is like Alfred was to Bruce, only maybe a little more fun. Then we come to the interrogation portion of this show. Contestant number 1 was born in Arkham and has a lengthy criminal record. Fearless Leader immediately asks for her lawyer. The detective tells her that maybe she should have thought of that before she broke the woman's kneecap. Madam Snarky shoots back that maybe the lawyer shouldn't have tried to get her to plead to a crime she didn't commit. The detective tells her that they have her prints on the gun and the money they found with her and her friends, and starts rolling off names of big-time criminals. She angrily tells him she doesn't know who paid them. That is when Harvey, who has been watching from the window in the door, comes in and asks her if she is really the Joker's daughter, suggesting she killed Bruce Wayne to avenge her father. Madam Snarky smiles and tells him they need to get their story straight before they get into court. He is suggesting she did it for revenge and would have done it for free, and the detective is saying she did it for money. Back with Turner, who is caught up by Stephanie in the halls. She offers to listen if he needs someone to talk to. Then Asshole from Game of Suckface stops him in the hall to poke at him, saying he must feel relief now that he doesn't need to keep Batman's secret anymore. Turner slams him into the wall, saying sure. What he is feeling is relief. Stephanie gets Turner to let him go, and he stalks off. She follows and goes through a door with a combo lock. It leads to a tower that looks to have been forgotten. She apologizes for asshole, but Turner says he was right, that the killers knew Bruce was Batman, which means they knew him better than he did. She tells him to give the police time, but he suggests they go to the Batcave and use its computers to find the one who hired the hit. Then we meet contestant number 2 in the interrogation phase. Harper Rowe, the first girl, was an honor roll student who dropped out shortly before graduating. Apparently Dad was abusive, and she had to get herself and her brother out of there because he really did not like the fact that his daughter was bisexual. But wait, it gets better, because then we meet contestant number 3, the only one with a functioning brain, Cullen Rowe. But Detective is about to call him by another name, and Harvey stops him, telling him not to dead name the kid. And just like that, bisexual becomes the least of Dad's issues with his kids, but nobody wanted to say the word trans, I guess. Harvey tells the abrasive detective to take a hike after he starts going hard at Cullen. When the cop is gone, he apologizes to Cullen, but Cullen isn't buying it. The kid tells Harvey that Duella, their idiot leader, came into the soup kitchen the Rowe siblings were at with a plan. Harvey jumps to the conclusion that the plan was to kill Bruce Wayne, saying he can sell a jury on the idea that it was all Duella's idea. In the other room, however, Harper is trying to claim responsibility to protect Cullen. However, since she can't name whoever hired them, they won't deal. In the Batcave, Turner has Stephanie use the computers to hack into the banks to try and find who paid the killers $100,000. She searches for withdrawals in that amount and quickly finds out that the police are going to find out that it has been made to look like it was Turner himself. She is telling him he needs to call the police before the bank does, but he sees the police cars arriving at the front gate. He is arrested. Harvey comes into the interrogation room and tells him not to talk to anyone until Bruce's lawyers get there. Harvey is then shown outside arguing with the abrasive detective from earlier, saying his theory doesn't make sense. The detective rounds on Harvey, telling him that Bruce had an appointment with his lawyers to change his will. Harvey goes back and tells Turner, saying that he is currently the sole beneficiary, and Bruce wanting to change that is motive. Bruce's lawyers are also refusing to represent him. He then shows Turner a 6th century Athenian coin that Bruce had on him when he died. Turner tells him he never saw it. Turner is put into the same cell as the quote-unquote killers, and you immediately know a fight is coming. After some chit-chat, it does. Fearless Leader hits Turner, and the police stream in to beat the crap out of all of them. Harvey is then shown leaving the courthouse through a gaggle of reporters who are asking if Turner killed Bruce Wayne. He doesn't comment, and he gets into a car with an older woman who asks him the same thing. She says the city has already convicted the kid. All he has to do is make it official. She then suggests that it would make an excellent campaign launcher since he has eyes on running for mayor. Turner, like an idiot, uses his call to ask Stephanie to find out who made up the evidence of the money leading back to him. He is then put in the transport with the 3 idiots, and you know this is a ride to nowhere and that the 4 will wind up escaping. It is stupid, but the way they do it is even more imbecilic than you could imagine. While it is just the 4 of them, they tell Turner that they know he did not hire them, that he doesn't have it in him. They then tell him that they need to break out because whoever framed them will make sure that they are killed in lockup. The only way the frame sticks is if they are dead and nobody is around to ask questions. They thank him for starting the fight so they can grab what they needed, showing him that they all grabbed away to get out of their handcuffs. 2 police come in to the truck, and one of them is the detective, and another is garbed in a riot uniform, complete with mask. As they head out, Duella is having trouble with her cuffs, and the detective notices. She uses the distraction to allow the other two to beat him and the other cop down. They are asking Turner if he is with them when the masked cop comes up with a taser. Duella grabs the arm and swings it away from Turner. The taser goes off and shoots the driver through a window that suspiciously has neither grating nor glass. Turner lunges to grab the wheel through the window and tells them to brace as he steers them into a pile of dirt to flip them. The escorting police stop and get out of their cars with their guns drawn. Duella comes out with the detective's gun pointed at his head, and it is about here that my eyes about rolled out of my head. Turner gets between her and the detective, saying that his father would not want this. The detective grabs his gun from Duella, and the three idiots clue in the even bigger idiot to the fact that the cops were going to kill them all. Just as the detective is about to shoot Turner, a batarang appears in his hand, knocking the gun away. A rocket hits one of the police cars, and bombs with bat sigils on them attach to the other cars, disabling them. That is when race-swapped Carrie Kelly, who is another victim of Hollywood's ginger side, shows up in her rather lame Robin costume. She kicks the crap out of the crooked police. Mind you, she looks like she's about 4.5 feet tall and weighs somewhere south of 90 pounds, as she is throwing around guys with at least 1.5 feet and 100 pounds on her. Seriously, Hollywood. Physics is a thing. She tells them that they have to go, and they ask her if she brought the Batmobile. She says no, her mom's car. That is when Duella, who hasn't been snarky in several minutes, decides it's time to mouth off by saying she isn't going anywhere with Turner. He almost got them killed. He apologizes, she hits him, accepts the apology, and goes skipping off towards the car as she calls Shotgun. Where do they go? To the Batcave? To a secret safe house? To an abandoned warehouse? No. Bruce Wayne's grave so Robin can have a heart-to-heart with Turner. She explains how she became Robin, and that Bruce loved Turner. It gets more complicated than that, and they went on talking about their feelings for quite a while, but that's about what it breaks down to. Then the towering intellect that wrote this show decided we had not seen and heard Duella in a few minutes, and she breaks in, crudely suggesting that they might want to go elsewhere. They show Harvey giving a press conference where he promises to use the full might of the city to hunt down the Four, and anyone who abets them. Then the future Nobel laureates are shown hiding, quote unquote, in the school tower. Turner tells them that nobody knows about it. They hide out, stick to the high ground, and find out who really killed Bruce. Robin nixes Duella's idea that the detective who was going to kill them did it because he was accounted for at the time of the murder. He was just a part of the cover-up. Cullen pulls out the watch he stole and says it was way too expensive for a cop's salary. He is saying that the engraving on it will make it a little harder to fence, and both Turner and Duella recognize it. Duella says that they should have just let the police kill them. It is the symbol on the coin that Harvey showed Turner, the one Bruce had on him when he was killed. It is the symbol of the Court of Owls, the real people who run the city. She recites something she heard growing up in Arkham, and we see Cressida burning Bruce's will, and the dirty detective being decapitated by a masked swordsman. And that was the premiere of Gotham Knights. To be honest, I was actually expecting worse. Don't get me wrong, this is typical CW dreck, and the fact that they could only get a little over 600,000 people to watch it shows that people have caught on to the fact that the CW is bottom of the barrel as far as television goes. But I got through the episode. That is not true of shows like Naomi, which I had to tap out of after about 15 minutes, it was so stupid. No, this was incompetently written, but not so badly acted, directed, and produced as to make it brain-meltingly bad, as Naomi was. The characters, for the most part, are mediocre at best. The siblings are shadows of Duella, with little to no personality beyond being criminal siblings and part of the Alphabet Mafia. Turner is straight out of central casting for rich, preppy white guy, and the script treats him like it. He is borderline retarded and fits in with this new gang of Mensa candidates. Robin is a joke. Whoever is responsible for casting her should be fired, given a physics book, and then taken to the eye doctor. Harvey and Cressida were alright, I guess, but Misha Collins is a better actor than what we were shown. I can only guess it was the showrunner's fault. Stephanie was inconsistent. One minute she is besties with Turner, the next she is suck-facing with his school rival. The next she is apologizing for him being such an asshole to Turner, and the next she is hacking into banks. And the way Turner acts around her is equally inconsistent. She is either his platonic best friend who acts as his sounding board and counsel, in which case he should not care who she is sucking face with, or she is a budding romantic interest that he would like to suck face with, which is how they were also acting at various times. The only character that was mildly interesting and showed possible promise was also a complete frickin' moron, namely Duella. Had she acted more like a Joker, Harley Quinn hybrid, she would be a great character. Instead, sometimes she's crazy, sometimes she's retarded, and sometimes she is normal. And while a good actress with good writing would make that work, the writing is crap, and, so far at least, so is she. Which is a shame, because it is a character that could put this show on her back and carry it if they knew what they were doing. However, the writers/showrunners are former Batwoman writers, it is current year Hollywood, and this is the CW. None of the three of those groups are capable of doing any such thing. Never mind come up with a compelling show using this source material. Which is why the game division at DC was disavowing this show when leaks started coming out about it. I think that will be all for this video. I will see how things go before deciding whether to continue to review the show. If you like what I do here, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and comment down below. I really appreciate it. The next video will be a double episode review of the last two ARC episodes. I completely missed last week's episode, so we're doing double duty this week. Working on the Oscar videos made me completely forget about the show, and so that will be the next video. After that, I will probably do the RRR Oscar retrospective video. Until then, tschüss.